Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is David Rice. Represent Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior. And today I'm going to be reading from the story of Ruth, and I'm going to be reading about Naomi. Okay, Naomi. Then I'm going to read about the story of Ruth. I'm going to explain these scriptures. A lot of people don't talk about this story in the Bible, especially at church. They don't talk about it too much. So I'm going to talk about it. Okay. First of all, Naomi went through a lot. She went through a lot. She went through tragedies. Then her faith started going. Her faith. So, I'm going to talk about Naomi first. Then I'm going to talk about Ruth and her life. Because one story is a sad story and one story is a love story. So, that's how it is. Okay. Go to the book of Ruth, chapter 1, verse 3. Okay. But Elimelech, the husband of Naomi, died, and she was left with her two sons. We'll read that again. But Elimelech, the husband of Naomi, died, and she was left with her two sons. Okay? You know how you like say if your husband dies to your mothers, you know, or your boyfriend or your baby daddy dies, you left with your two sons or your two daughters or something like that. You left. A lot of people can relate to this. That's why I'm doing this video, because a lot of people can relate to this story. Well, it's not really talked about. Let me continue reading. Go to go to Book of Ruth, chapter 1, verse 2. It says, the name of the man was Elimelech, and the name of his wife Naomi, and the names of his two sons were Mahlon and Chelon. They were Ephraimites from Bethlehem and Judah. They were from Bethlehem. I know I should have talked about this in the beginning of the video, but these people were from Bethlehem. And who was born in Bethlehem? Jesus. Jesus was born in Bethlehem. This story is not about Jesus. I just want you guys to know that these people came from Bethlehem. Because later in the story, I'm going to talk about they move. They make this big move. So I had to mention it before I move forward. Go to Ruth chapter 1, verse 4 through 6. These took Moabite wives. Okay, the sons took Moabite wives. The name of the one was Ophrah, and another name was Ruth. They lived there about 10 years. Okay, and both Mahlon and Chelon died. Their husbands died, so that the woman was left without her two sons and her husband. Okay, Naomi lost two sons, and the wives lost a husband. Okay, then Ruth and Naomi, I'm sorry, not Ruth and Naomi, and Ophrah, Ruth and Ophrah. Okay, Ruth and Ophrah, they live with Naomi. Okay, and they also moved back to the land of Judah. Okay, go to the book of Ruth, chapter 1, verse 7. So she set out from the place where she was with her two daughters in law, and they went on the way to return to the land of Judah. They went to Judah. Okay? They went to the land of Judah. They went back to where they came from. Because Bethlehem is a city in Judah. Okay? Bethlehem is a city in Judah. If you guys don't know. And Go to the book of Ruth, chapter 1, verse 11 through 15. Naomi wanted them, the daughters wanted to live with Naomi, but Naomi wanted them to move on with their lives. Go to the book of Ruth, chapter 1, verse 11 through 15. It says, But Naomi said, Turn back, my daughters. Why will you go with me? Have I yet sons in my room that they may become your husbands? Okay, remember, their husbands died. Oprah and Ruth's husbands, they both died, okay? And Naomi asking them, do I have more sons that you can marry? The answer is no. But then turn back, my daughters, go your way. For I am too old to have a husband. If I should say I have hope, even if I should have a husband this night and should bear sons, will you therefore wait till they they were grown? Will you therefore refrain from marrying? No, my daughters, for it is exceedingly bitter to me for your sake that the hand of the Lord has gone against me. Okay, so Naomi felt like God was against her. This is how a lot of you women feel, a lot of you people. All these bad things happen. All these bad things happen. It's like no good things happen. So you feel like God's against you. You feel like God not gonna make a way for you, but He really is in the future. But God is testing our faith. Ladies and gentlemen, God is testing our faith. And Naomi was starting to lose her faith. Then they lifted up their voices and wept again. And Oprah kissed her mother-in-law, but Ruth clung to her. And she said, See, your sister-in-law has gone back to her people and her gods. Return after your sister-in-law. So Oprah left, but Ruth stayed. Oprah went back home, and Ruth stayed. I understand Oprah followed another god, so did Ruth. Ruth followed another god too. And Naomi followed the true living God. Okay? And Ruth was a loyal woman. Ruth was loyal. There's not too many loyal people out here in these days, man. There's not too many loyal people. Ruth was very, 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 very loyal. She stayed. She stayed, okay? But Ruth said, Do not urge me to leave you or to return from following you. For where you go, I will go, and where you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God my God. Where you die, I will die, and there will I be buried. May the Lord do so to me, and more also, if anything but death part me from you. And when Naomi saw that she was determined to go with her, she said no more. Okay? No more. So Ruth was loyal. She was faithful. She didn't want Naomi to be alone. Ruth cared about Naomi more than Naomi cared about herself. Ruth was a true friend. Ruth was a true friend. Okay. And again, Naomi thought God was mad. Telling you. And now I'm going to talk about Ruth's life. Okay, I'm going to talk about Ruth's life. Ruth has a lifestyle too. Okay. Ruth has a life. Go to the book of Ruth, chapter 2, verse 1. Go to the book of Ruth, chapter 2, verse 1. It says, Now Naomi had a relative of her husband's. A relative of her husband's. a worthy man of the clan of Elimelech, whose name was Boaz. Okay, this Boaz is the one Ruth falls in love with. Boaz is the one that Ruth falls in love with. She falls in love with him. And this is a love story. Okay, I'm getting ready to explain. This is a true love story. And Ruth wanted to find favor in Boaz's sight. Ruth liked Boaz. So go to the book of Ruth chapter 2 verse 2. It says, and Ruth the Moabite said to Naomi, let me go to the field and glean among the ears of the grain after him, in whose sight I shall find favor. And she said to her, go, my daughter. Okay? So Ruth had to go in the garden because, I mean, not in the garden, but in the field, like in the field. Ruth had to go in the field. Okay? So when Ruth was in the field, Ruth was flirting with Boaz. Okay? He was trying to, I mean, she wasn't really flirting. She was trying to get Boaz to look at her. Just like women do today when they wear certain like fancy clothes, they try to get a man to look at them or something like that, you know. That's what Ruth was doing. This is in the Bible. This stuff is deep. Yeah, that's what she was doing. Now go with me to verse 10. Go with me to verse 10. It says, then she fell on her face, bowing to the ground, and said to him, why I have found favor in your eyes. She found favor. That you should take notice of me, since I am a foreigner. She was a foreigner. She came from a different country. Okay? Most foreigners don't really know God like that. I'm just being honest. She was a foreigner. And Boz was really wondering who Ruth was. I know I moved ahead, but I'm going to go back to verse 4 through 6. The point is that Ruth found favor in Boz's eyes. 4 through 6. And behold, Boaz came from Bethlehem. He's from Bethlehem. And he said to the reapers, the Lord will be with you. And they answered, the Lord bless you. Then Boaz said to his young man, who was in charge of the reapers, whose young woman is this? And the servant who was in charge of the reapers answered, she is a young Moabite woman who came back with Naomi from the country of Moab. Okay, Boaz was wondering who she was, you know. Then they finally met, you know. And eventually Boaz takes her on a date. Eventually, yeah. Go to the book of Ruth chapter 11. The book of Ruth chapter 2 verse 11. Okay? But Boaz answered her, all that you have done for your mother-in-law since the death of your husband has been fully told to me, and how you left your father and mother in your native land and came to the people that you did not know before. So Boaz found out a lot. See, the problem with relationships these days, the problem with, they don't get to know each other, okay? Boaz found out Ruth's past, okay? What Ruth did for Naomi, okay? And what he he dug her out before he started dating her. You gotta know somebody before you date them, okay? You have to know them, okay? For real. Before Bob started dating, he checked Ruth out, okay? Who she was, what she was doing. You know, that's what we have to do. She did not follow God, but she thanked God. Go to the book of Ruth, chapter 2, verse 13. Then she said, I have found favor in your eyes, my Lord, for you have comforted me and spoken kindly to your servant, though I am not of your servants. Though I am not of your servants. She was a foreigner and everything, you know. And finally, to the main part. Boz and Ruth date. They date. They go for a date. Okay? Go to the book of Ruth chapter 2 verse 14. It says, at mealtime, Boz said to her, come here. Boz said to her, come here and eat some bread and dip, morsel, and wine. So she sat beside the reapers and passed to her roast grain. And she ate until she was satisfied, and she had some left over. Okay? That's how you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to get to know the girl, check her out, you know, talk to her, get to know her. Like, before I had the girlfriend I have now, okay, we got to know each other before we started dating, okay? That's how it was. That's how it's supposed to be. hmm And also, Ruth, she had to keep watch. She had to keep watch over her man because there was a lot of women where he was working, okay? And there was a lot of women in the field. There was a lot of women. I'm just going to be honest. So in a relationship, sometimes you got to watch your man and your husband. I mean, you got to watch your man and your woman. Sometimes you got to watch, you know? So another man or another woman don't try to take your spouse, you know? So go to the book of Ruth chapter 2. This is the last scripture. Go to Ruth chapter 2 verse 21 through 23. It says, and Ruth the Moabite said, besides, he said to me, you shall keep close by your young man until they have finished all my harvest. And Naomi said to Ruth her daughter-in-law, it is good, my daughter, that you go out with his young man, his young women, lest another feel you be assaulted. So she kept close to the young women of Boz, leaning until the end of the barley and the wheat harvest, and she lived with her mother-in-law. Okay, Ruth lived with her mother-in-law and everything, but she had to keep watching the field because there was a lot of women. Naomi was telling her that. Naomi knew. You know what I mean? You're supposed to keep watch. Not just be all under him and stuff, but keep watch. She was gleaning. She was like, so Boz and notice her and stuff. You know what I mean? And that's it for this video. God bless.